A threat has erupted from the depths of Tyria. The destroyers, merciless, mindless, destructive creatures, have emerged from the dark heart of the earth. They've driven underground races like the Asura to the surface and tested the defences of the dwarves. The destroyers have overrun the Asura's central transfer chamber, the hub of a series of magical gates, and now threaten the entire surface world. Some of the dwarves feel that an ultimate battle is coming, as chronicled in the Tome of the Rubicon. For the moment, we need to find allies, resources, and most of all knowledge to defeat this threat to the human lands. The scrying pool in the Hall of Monuments has revealed an apocalyptic vision. With that revelation, we move towards a final battle. Vec recognised the vision's location. It's beneath the central transfer chamber, the hub of the Asura's magical network, and Ogden says that the ultimate danger is a creature from dwarven legend, the Great Destroyer. We have rallied what allies we could among the humans, Norn and Asura. King Jarlis himself has worked a mystic rite to invoke the power of the Great Dwarf. The ritual metamorphosed many dwarves into stone-formed warriors who are now dedicated to eradicating the destroyers. We fought our way deep into destroyer territory and entered the central transfer chamber. Now we're ready to face their destructive master. The Great Destroyer awaits. Am I dreaming? Really? Is this the end of the Let's Play already? Jesus. Hi guys, and welcome to another video. This is the final video. I can't believe it's here. I hope you enjoy it. I've given quite a lot of thought of some cool stuff we can do with this. You might be surprised at what's coming. I do hope you enjoy it. But yeah, before we get into all of the meaty stuff with the final mission, we go on with that. Let's have this little tour of the central transfer chamber because we've been here for like 2 episodes now, but I've not really talked about what we've got here. First, let's read the actual outpost description. The last one, yes. Okay, there's no extra outposts that are added in Guild Wars Beyond. So here we go. Polisted to the vast wheel of Asura gates, the central transfer chamber is a magical and architectural marvel constructed atop a major pocket of magical energy. The Asura channel that raw power to fuel all the gates in the network and link them together via this great crossroads of transport. Most of the major gates across Tyria lead to this location. So this magical energy they're talking about, this is an Elder Dragon. We're really close. There's a chamber adjacent to here where the Great Destroyer and Primordus are. It's just really, really close. It's just down there. Before we go down though, you get all kinds of services and cool stuff around here. The only real quest that you get available here is the challenge mission, which I showed you last video. But you get some cool stuff. I won't be able to show you them off at the moment because we're still quite low rank amongst the dwarves. So most of them are just going to fob us off by saying this. By the beard of the Great Dwarf, look at this. It seems Peter Redhill has decided to do a little spelunking as a nice retreat. Am I right? We have enough problems of our own without you coming around to stir things up. Now leave me in peace and make room for customers who can rightfully claim to be a bold delver. This is just unbelievable. We come down here and they just are absolute wankers to us. It's brilliant. I guess you could explain it as, oh, now that they've turned to stone, this is why they're complete dickheads. It's hilarious though. I do really like it. Basically, if you don't complete some dungeons on the side before coming this far into the storyline, none of the dwarves will really like you at all. There are a few things we can get though, like this guy here, Odon Skagglebeard. That's an amazing Scragglebeard. That's an amazing name actually. He will speak to us and he says, "You appear to be strong and hardy, like a particular serving wench of my acquaintance who could lift 2 kegs of ale above her chin. That is to say, I believe you can rid our land of the destroyer menace. So how about this? Go out and find me 250 destroyer cores in return for these gauntlets. I'll show you these in a later video, probably in Guild Wars Beyond. These are pretty cool though, right? You need 250 cores for them. It's similar to the Mask of the Mosing, which I talked about before, where you need 250 superb char carvings. We will see them eventually. It's very cool. But there's a lot of weird items like that. Like the armor here you can get, but you can't actually dedicate it in the Hall of Monuments because it's not considered as a complete set. But he'll offer you some weird stuff like dragon gauntlets, and you can get all kinds of weird things. So I will be showing them off eventually. Here's the hero armorer guy. Again, we'll see the hero armor probably at the start of the dungeon series. I'll show you those off. That makes most sense to me. We've got obviously regular material traders over here. A consumable guy who will sell you some consumables, but obviously we can't actually buy them yet because our rank's too low. And yeah, I think that's about it actually. There's some more stuff over there, like there's a Junelite chest, lots of gates around. I really do like how there's lots of gates. Sadly, you can only go through the one gate that takes you back out into Destruction's Depths, just over there where we came in through up there. But there's these other gates that you can see. Is the one just around that corner? Yeah, like this one here you can see, and they're all sort of slanted in. Christ knows why it's like this. Maybe it's just the destroyers have kind of fucked things up around here, but you can't actually go through it. I guess the idea is it does lead somewhere, but we don't know where, and we don't care to go there right now because we've got got more pressing issues. So yeah, the story right now, the dwarves, they're all fighting loads of destroyers which are swarming in the underground. We are just going to be a very small party, and we're going to be slipping through the back lines with no dwarves, which I think is a bit of a shame since this is really the dwarven fight. But we don't have any dwarves with us, and we're going to slip through and try and kill the Great Destroyer, who essentially is like the mind of all of the destroyers right now. By killing him, we won't kill all of the destroyers as well, but we will basically stop them from being able to be organised, and the dwarves should be able to win the fight, no matter how long that actually takes. They say come Guild Wars 2, the dwarves are still fighting the destroyers, so really we just kind of cut the head off here, and the dwarves spend the next 250 years chopping away at the body. Okay, so I'll be going in there in a minute. We'll have Peter, we'll have Matt, we'll have Tom, everyone will be there. We'll have all the most significant heroes with us. And yeah, let's do it. So we can speak to High Priest Alcar, which is pretty cool. This is the guy who studied the Tome of the Rubicon, which is freaking awesome, I think, that they actually let you speak to this guy first. He still offers us this destructive research quest, which I showed you before because we were on a different character at the time. But he says, long have I studied the Tome of the Rubicon and the lore of the Great Destroyer. Never did I expect to see the Great Destroyer surface in my lifetime. We plan to strike the Great Destroyer head on. Without the power of the Great Dwarf, your attack has little chance of success. However, given the size of your party, you may be able to slip through. Will you continue with this plan? Okay, so here we go. This is it, guys. I'll see you in there. The Great Destroyer must be stopped. There is no other way. A time for heroes. There we go, this is the chamber. This is the chamber right here that we're in. You see our only objective, defeat the Great Destroyer. This is the chamber we've been seeing through all of the visions, the whole way through the Eye of the North that the scrying pool has been showing us. That's the door we just came through, presumably. It's quite funny, actually. In the outpost, the door that you see looks completely different to the door that's there, but whatever. I guess we can assume there was a corridor or something further down, and we walked forward. So I'll just flag my heroes back, and we'll run forward here. Let's have a good look at what's actually in here. Oh, it's a good sight, isn't it? Oh, it's amazing. So, up the top there, you see that giant, like, spiky thing. You won't be able to see it too clearly right now, but that's Primordus. That's the first time in the Guild Wars series we've come face to face with an Elder Dragon. That's specifically Primordus. He might look different in Guild Wars 2, granted, you know, he might look bigger. They talk about them being really big. I mean, he's only the size of the Shatterer right now, really, but he's huge. And down there, you can see that's the Great Destroyer, as we can see there, who looks absolutely like an ant in comparison to Primordus, who's just huge with all these weird things coming off. It's quite cool the way they do it, because, like, the rocks look like they're kind of blending into Primordus himself. Anyway, so Tom says, keep away from the lava blast, watch where you tread. This is something awesome about this mission. Like, depending on what heroes you've got, they'll all say different things. It's always the same dialogue, but any hero could specifically say it. So this time it was Tom, or indeed player that's there. So Tom actually speaks, and you actually kind of get bits of conversation coming through. So there you go. Gwen says the next thing. She says, everyone keep to the hardened lava or you'll burn to death. This is the thing with this mission. This whole place, you're basically fighting on lava, except this platform like I'm on at the moment, where we're killing these destroyers of lives. These won't burn you when you're stood on them, so you kind of want to keep to the hardened ones. The fact that the burning isn't the only really dangerous thing here. The Great Destroyer over in the other end of the chamber will continually send out like these lava waves and stuff, so if you're standing in the lava at the time, it will just like knock you down, and he can do that from any range. So you can have your entire team fall over on the lava, and all your backline, everyone will just fall over, and you get raped. Like, you see, I just died there. Like, it's so hard. Well, it's not specifically really hard. There are, like I said, there are a few tactics you can do with this mission that will let you survive. Oh god, that will let you survive really, really quickly. But and just be able to kill him pretty fast. So survival's not so much of a problem. But generally, it is quite a hard mission. I remember actually, I was talking about, I think it was Matt. Oh my god, look how many people were dead. This isn't good. I remember at the end of my previous Let's Play, at the end of Nightfall, I think we were killing Malix, and someone was leaving like loads of comments saying how impossible this is. And it is quite a hard mission. There we go, everybody's up. It is quite a hard mission, but it's not terribly hard. And the way I'm doing it here is how a regular team will hopefully be able to do it themselves. So we'll continue along. Just try and keep off of the lava as best you can, I would say. Suru's down. I actually care about Suru being down. Don't care about Corey, but Corey's up. Damn it! But yeah, so we'll continue on. Basically, want to keep to the hardened ground. It's not so bad. Like, for instance, I've got Ogden at the moment using Extinguish, which is quite a nice spell. Remember that ability, Breath of the Great Dwarf, as well? That's actually really useful for this final fight here. You can use that if you want. I'm just going to keep trying to get save yourselves up as much as I possibly can. That would just be very, very helpful, because at the end of the day, all these guys do is just elemental damage. So if you give everyone really high armor, you should generally be okay. Just keep knocking out the Destroyers of Lives. The path we're taking here is the path I always like to take. It's generally not too bad as a path, but I mean, you can go your own way. Some people just charge at the Great Destroyer straight away. Like Pain Inverter, this skill, if you use Pain Inverter on the Great Destroyer, you can really take advantage. See, look, he's just changed the floor again, bastard. There you go, you see that lava blast that just knocked me down? That's what can really damage you, and you want to keep moving to the land. I think it actually depends. The more Destroyers of Lives you kill is how often the Great Destroyer will like change the floor. It's like he doesn't do it on a timer. It just depends on how far into the mission you've got, like with your progress. It's not a particularly long. Look at him there. It's not a particularly long mission, but it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're coming up against. Like just using all the dwarven skills you've got, particularly Breath of the Great Dwarf. If you're playing this with loads of other players, if you just all bring that, then generally you'll be mostly safe from all the fire. In any case, there we go. That's that guy down. I think is that the whole chamber cleared? Yes, it is. Brilliant. Okay, so now we'll go for the Great Destroyer himself. He's not actually that dangerous. Like I said, I think the Disc of Chaos is actually a more dangerous boss than this guy. See the skill here, Searing Breath he's using? That does damage, sure, but if you interrupt that, which my heroes probably will do in a minute, like Lava Wave there, you see that, and then he uses it Enraged Blast. George just said, interrupts enrage him, use them wisely. Like, try not to, you have to decide if you want to interrupt or not, because if you do decide to interrupt him, he'll use that second skill, which can be very, very dangerous. If you're using Pain Inverter, that can basically kill him instantly, though, so that's a nice tip. But yeah, we're just going to keep hammering into him here. Looks like we've got this, I'm pretty... Yeah, there we go, that's him dead. So here's the final cutscene, and it's a really good one, so I hope you guys enjoy.
Gwen was right. With the death of their master, the Destroyers lost their coordination. Jalus and his dwarves pursued them into the depths of the earth. Legends were born that day. And while this threat was ended, the legends would continue. In the years to come, new threats would arise in Tyria. New creatures would stir. New sacrifices would be made. And the greatest threat of all was yet to come. A threat that would consume the entire world and call upon the greatest of heroes, the children of the legends.
The children of the legends. That's you guys, you realise? That's you. Yeah, it's an awesome cutscene, isn't it? I really do like that cutscene. Mostly because it actually deals with Guild Wars 2 stuff. It's like one of the few... like pretty much the only one actually in all of Guild Wars 1 that really sort of expressly sends players, because that's like the last cutscene really. I mean, when, like I said before, ArenaNet didn't know how long it would take them to make Guild Wars 2. For them, that was like the end of Guild Wars basically, and that was them sending the players off and saying until next time in 250 years. So yeah, this is the epilogue. This is the epilogue. This is the last like ending area of anything. You hear that music there? This music? This is like the Guild Wars theme. It's awesome. I'll probably turn the music up just so you guys can hear it. This music you haven't been able to hear in game for years. When Eye of the North came out, this music was only played during character creation at the launch of the game, and you couldn't hear it anywhere else. When Factions came out, they changed the music so you couldn't hear it, and then right at the end of the Eye of the North they brought it back, and I think that's so awesome and a really nice way of sort of tying it back into the start there. Really, really cool. Here we've got Droknar ahead of us. We can talk to this guy and do some stuff with him. I'll do that at the end though, because when you speak to him it like rolls the credits, which will annoy me. We've got lots of people to speak to and lots of cool stuff to do here in the epilogue. Let's crack it open though with a read of our journal, the last journal entry. Let's read it. A time for heroes. Let's get Charlie out as well. We have finally defeated the Great Destroyer. Hallelujah. In the wake of this climactic battle, its minions have fallen. Just as the central transfer chamber was a hub of magical gates, the Great Destroyer was the central mind of the destroyers. Eliminating that central mind has weakened their race. Those that remain are unthinking engines of destruction that can no longer swarm in organized hives. This victory has cost us greatly. Many dwarves sacrificed their minds and their natural forms. They now pursue the surviving destroyers deep within the earth. Yet peace of a sort reigns. The sacrifice of the dwarven race has spared the surface world the depredations of a deadly cataclysm. Peace is not eternal, I know, and there will be challenges in the years to come. We have found new peoples and new lands, and the role of mankind in this world, this creation of the gods, seems to be shrinking. I can only hope that when the next great danger arises in Tyria, whether on its surface or within its depths, champions and heroes will once again be ready for the challenge. That's like to me, like obviously, but when they wrote this was kind of the end of the characters that we were playing. I kind of see this as like a resignation of our character. Like we go and retire now, and we say, look, let the other heroes do it. Let the Guild Wars 2 heroes sort stuff out. We're done. We've played our role. We've done a lot, and this is the end. So yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? Droknar here, of course. Droknar. This is literally the Droknar that Droknar's Forge is named after. You might remember from way back in Prophecies, I talked about this a little bit. Droknar, he was crowned king essentially. He was the first guy to unite the dwarven clans together at Droknar's Forge, and he got named after him. He comes to us in spirit form. Like I said, we can speak to him now, actually. He says, "Thank you, Peter Redhill. Without your courage and leadership, the world would have fallen to the depraved machinations of the destroyers. You truly are heroes among heroes, and your legend will never be forgotten." And you can speak to him again. I think it's if you say thank you now, credits start to roll, so I won't do that. He says, "I am Droknar, ancient leader of the dwarves. Our time as a race is drawing to a close. Those who have undergone the rite have become weapons that will conquer or perish trying." And don't forget, every single dwarf ends up going under the rite. "It's their final duty to hold the line. I come to you now in thanks for what you have done. Not only for my people, but for all of Tyria. Our ancient treasures are yours. Please take this now and claim your reward. When you're ready to leave, I can send you back to the Eye of the North." So we're not actually going to take his treasure just yet. He'll give you a key which you can use in these chests. I'll show you that later. But we got a couple of dwarves over here we can speak to. All the cool dwarves. So we've got Budger Black Powder, held the secret of how to get the great hammer to actually perform the rite. Now that was an explosion. It was so beautiful it made me weep. He's talking there about the tiny clip we see of the Great Destroyer blowing up at the end of that at the start of that cutscene, sorry, which I will be talking about, don't worry. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about that cutscene. High Priest Alcar, of course, who we spoke to just now to get into the mission. "Hail, friend, my people may no longer live to greet you in the ways of old, but I shall raise my mug to you in one final salute. Where dwarves have fallen, a hero has risen in their place." Wonderful. Kilroy Stonekin. "I still have debts to collect and shields to pound. I could use someone to watch my back, though. Come, talk to me when you're up for some no-holds-barred action. Hoorah!" Okay, awesome. I love Kilroy. And we've got Orazar Highstone as well. His brother died. Taken by Dwayna. I'm still really curious about this. Dwayna taking his brother. I wonder if that is going to be a story in Guild Wars 2. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Anyway, he says, "Jarlis told us a hero would come, but he also said our battle was not yet finished. The right of the Great Dwarf calls us. We go." Very interesting. So Dwayna essentially spared his brother from the rite. Very weird. We got some other stone dwarves over here. A transformed scout who says, "For a human, you're quite remarkable. Your name may even go down in dwarven legends for your deeds." This guy over here, a transformed mender. "So you managed to survive, eh? I'll drink a pint of ale to you." And a soldier here who says, "Those Asura think their magic's defeated the destroyers when clearly our dwarven might turn the tide." Yes, I'm sure the Asura are taking all the claims for it. You might be wondering here about the Stone Summit, why they're stone or not. Basically, one of the dungeons that now becomes unlocked for you is like the final end game thing in Guild Wars, which will be seen in the dungeon series, and that talks about what exactly the Stone Summit are doing now. Anyway, Ogden, our old friend. Ogden, as far as the story's concerned, right, this is the last we ever see of Ogden. This is like goodbye to him. He says,
"Hail. And well met."
"Yeah, well met to you. I shall carry your name with me to the dwarves fighting deep inside the cavern." So it sounds like he just goes down and fights on his own. So goodbye, Ogden. It was brilliant fighting alongside you during Eye of the North. So down here we get some more of our most prominent heroes who will have a little conversation with one another as we draw close. Gwen says, "These bad guys should know by now. You can't stop a real hero." That's a bit of a cheesy line. I don't really like that one. Maybe it's just because it's Gwen saying it. Pyre says, "When you set your mind on victory, the world has no chance but to hear you roar. That is the difference between a hero and a corpse." Okay, Pyre. Well said, I suppose. The Char is right this time. I suspect the world has not heard the last of you. See, that's interesting that they come up with that line as well. I suppose Guild Wars Beyond, we're about to go help Kreiter. A human agreeing with a char? Without insults? Strike me senseless. I'm amazed they even talk to each other. There may be hope yet, says Vec. So awesome. They will walk off to their respective groups. So yeah, we get groups here basically. You get a group of all the a group for each race that you'll be able to play in Guild Wars 2. So I always kind of see this Epilogue area as sort of an opportunity. I love that door over there as well. It's very weird. I wonder what's actually behind there. I wonder if that's where the dwarves go off to fight. So yeah, I always kind of see the Epilogue as sort of the player has played either North. They've seen all the races. They've figured out what they identify with, what they think will be most fun to play, and now they can go hang out with the race they've chosen. We'll be hanging out with all of them, of course. So we've got the Vanguard here. These guys worried about Ascalon. Hearing Peter Redhill's heroic tales gives me real hope for Ascalon, says Langmar. Someone who we haven't spoken to yet, but she's got a big role to play soon and beyond. No matter what the Char boasts, we will reclaim Ascalon one day. I wouldn't let myself believe it before, but Peter Redhill has shown me there are still heroes in the world, even after the horrors of the Searing. It may take time, but I have hope. Thank you. This is actually really tragic. Like, they end the game with all the Ascalonians with hope, but we all know that they're not. That the faux fire is going to happen, and it really is hopeless. It's quite depressing, really. But we can speak to Langmar.
Hello, traveler.
The fight isn't over, my friends. Not until Ascalon is reclaimed. This guy that was in the Hall of Monuments, who I couldn't quite pronounce his name. I've recorded your deeds so that we never forget the heroes who saved Tyria. Here we got Gwen. Ascalon may not be ours yet. Ascalon may not yet be ours again, but thanks to you, it's safe from one threat. The Char we will handle in time. And of course, a Norn here, Supply Master Mika. Never attempt a philosophical discussion with a Norn. If you can't hunt it, drink it, or toss it, they're just not interested. Why are the credits up? This is kind of annoying me. I thought that they weren't going to come up if we didn't speak to Droknar. We'll still speak to him later anyway. So we've got Anton here, all the heroes that we met in Eye of the North. Who says, who would have thought that on that one day in Sirmia when I awaited my execution, I would end up here? Perhaps I can still make amends for all my misdeeds. Now, the heroes you find here, if you haven't actually unlocked them in the game, they won't tell you anything interesting. So I've taken the time to unlock every single hero on Peter, just so that we get all the decent dialogue. You can thank me later. Here we've got some more Vanguard, who I don't think they say anything unless we speak to them. They do salute us, though, which is pretty awesome. I would celebrate the end of the Destroyers if it meant the end of the Char as well. Okay, nice. Be nice and grim. We must use what we've learned in our fight with the Destroyers against the Char. These Destroyers may have fallen, but the Char live on. Our work is not complete. So when you speak into the humans, like, it really just sounds like it's not a conclusion at all. They're just all quite depressed and want to keep fighting their own fight. We'll come this way and speak to the Norn, though. They're much more jovial, shall we say, as you'd expect the Norn to be. So you've got Jura over here with a couple of her friends. I think these guys start speaking when you come close. Or at least they should. Was I just not close enough? There we go. Bear has blessed Peter. I've rarely seen anyone, even a Norn, with such courage. Oh, thank you very much. I taught Peter Redhill and his companions everything they know, from how to hold a sword to what spells to use in combat. It's all because of me. Stuff it between the horns, Olaf. My stories are amazing, but nothing compared to those of, I think Peter's supposed to be there. It's like bugged. Alright, hail to Peter. The only human as brave as a Norn, and the only hunter as good as me. You all love the Norn. Brilliant. You guys will know already if you like the Norn or not. So we'll have a quick speak to these guys. Here's Gunnar from Gunnar's Hold. You're always welcome in Gunnar's Hold. I would make a great statue of you if you were just a bit taller. Oh, thanks. Okay, brilliant. Jorah, she gets a statue. It come Guild Wars 2. You can actually find it in the demos. Thanks to you, I can become the bear once more. For that, I'm forever grateful. We will hunt together again. See, I guess this is supposed to be the end of her as well, because now she can become the bear. But, like, I guess she goes off and does her own thing in the story, and she's not really a hero available for use anymore. We got Magni the Bison. You're quite the fighter. Perhaps I've finally met my match. You have. I beat your ass in the tournament like 100 times waiting for Palawa Joko. Jesus. Okay, Olaf Olafsson. Looks like you're taking after good old Olaf after all. Slaying a great beast before it destroys the known world reminds me of a time when I was young before my first ale moods, I'm sure. Yes, the ale has got to your gut. I can see that there. Egil Fireteller.
Let me tell you a story.
I like how he has like a different intro. That's so cool, like with a different voice. Ha! Quite the tale, little one. I'm jealous. I will have to recount my role in such great deeds and make sure Olaf doesn't take all the credit for what you have accomplished. Impressive hunting, even for a human. That is one beast even I would break a sweat slaying. Although, if you talk to Olaf, I'm sure he will claim to have done it before his first ailment. These guys aren't actually, they don't have that much interest and stuff to say. Hogni says, the end is but a beginning of something larger than anything we've ever seen. That's quite interesting. That's quite a cool little comment. A comment on Guild Wars 2, obviously. Ulrun, who actually fell in love with Matt. Norn value their individuality, but you've proven that leadership has advantages as well. Thank you for showing me the way. Hey, no problem. Did we already speak to Ulrun? I didn't see this coming, and I see everything. Then again, I might have been paying too much attention to the loud creak of your shoes. Okay, awesome. So yeah, one more got Norn over here. That was the most glorious battle ever. We should do it again. It really, I'm just can't wait to speak to the Asura because they've got so many cool things. The bear spirit over here. Bear looks upon you with approval. I've got such a vivid image of just like a bear like smiling smugly at me there. Alright, so we've got some Char over there. No, let's speak to the Char now, shall we? Alright, so the Char. Are they going to be very nice to us? Yeah, I doubt it. Hey, Char. You guys doing okay? You even going to speak in my presence? I don't think they do, actually, no. So we'll speak to Rowan. This is the Fierce clan, of course. Human, your odour is like a frogman's on a humid afternoon. My nose, my eyes, they burn. Pyre says, you show the cunning of a Char and have no fear. For that, you have my respect, human. When the time comes, we must fight again. I shall not aim at you. Hey, cheers, Pyre. Son of the first Char, really, we ever killed. Pretty awesome. Gron, Fierce Claw. Pyre led us since we were newly weaned cubs. I would kill for him. Let us hope for your sake, meat, that you do not fall from Pyre's favour. So yeah, these guys are just very vicious to us. Cowl. I've been a part of many horrific and strange things in my life, but nothing equals being rescued by a human. Humph. Alright, don't be grateful, bastard. Bonwar. Did you have something to say to me, human? I didn't think so. Seer. I love the smell of burnt flesh in the morning. No offence, human. And we get a Siege Devourer as well. Which just sounds horrible. Click, clack, clack. So there you go, that's the Char, act exactly as we'd expect. You get this guy over here called Blobby the Clone. Because we've not done the dungeons, we haven't met him yet. This is an ooze, essentially, that you can feed like a flesh reaver morsel to, and it will follow you around and become like your little pet. It's named after Bobby Stein, who's like one of the lead writers. Glop, 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 it says, but I don't actually know why he's there, but whatever he is. Are we really on the Asura now? Alright, so we're on the Asura. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, actually, no, let's speak to these guys first. Oh, no, Livia. I'm going to leave Livia for last. We'll leave Livia for last. Okay, let's go speak to the Asura proper first. So, the Asura, hello, guys. I think they have quite a lot to say, actually. It's genius. All we have to do is adjust the defibrillator and you cause an overload in the rear activity great drive. Why, what will that do, says Lork. Oh, probably nothing, but possibly everything. We could rule the world, or it could blow us all to smithereens. I could get a crew together for that in 3, maybe 4 hours. It says Mamp. I can't remember what Mamp does. Look, Peter just finished saving the world. Can't we all wait to endanger the world again till after supper at least? Fine, says Doff. Yes, okay. Wonderful Asura. Wonderful Asura. This is why I'm rolling the Asura. Okay, so here we go. Asuran. Oh no, the Asuran Elder's got the best thing to say. We'll go to Mamp first. Well done, Booker. I must admit, this unlikely crew of Asuran humans is the finest I've ever worked with. We'll have to hire your kind more often, and indeed they do later on, Guild Wars Beyond. Ula. Since I've left my workshop to help you, everything at home went kablutz. I might have to rehire that good-for-nothing Blim to help me get things back under control. I doubt Blim will want to work with you. Don't forget what I said. Blim, he's over here. We may as well speak to him. Ula's lab is in shambles. Now's my chance to show her my ability to take up the slack, or set myself on fire using her tools. Either way, she'll be impressed. Look, Blim, you're destined for great things. This man, if you've read Ghosts of Ascalon, man, Blim, you're so much more than this, as we will see in Guild Wars Beyond. Worker Golem. Automatic response. Good job, Booker. I love how they program Booker into the golems. Fantastic. Asuran Commodore. Smashing job with the whole save the world business. Cheers. See, at least they're nice to us now. Hey, Vec. What's up, man? After all this time, I admit that I find you interesting. And his default response is also interesting. Brilliant. I love it. So who knows what Vec thinks of us now, but I suppose he could continue coming with us. I don't think he necessarily does, though. Doff here. Did we speak to him? Careful with those gates. You never know where you'll end up. So there's Asura Trooper over here. Alright, I admit it. I'm starting to warm up to you, human. Sweet. And then we got this Asura Elder, who says, fascinating. This destroyer situation, if we look into history, we can see a similar parallel in Orr. See? Pretty awesome. That's them hinting straight away. Well, we didn't know that Zaitan was going to be the main antagonist of Guild Wars 2 until the first trailer, but all you have to do is look at this dialogue, and you can see that ArenaNet knew where they wanted to go. They're talking about Zaitan here. It's fantastic. Brilliant. I love that little throwaway line there. If only when I'd first spoken to him before Guild Wars 2 news came out, I knew what it was talking about. Brilliant. Okay, so we'll come over here. We've got 3 guys. These were the Challenge Coast guys. These are the people from Kryta that are still fighting the Krytan Civil War. This is essentially the best segue we've got to what Guild Wars Beyond will start us off with, which is the war in Kryta. So here we've got Hader, who says, I knew you could do it. I'd have said that even if you'd failed. Brilliant. Bartholos. He says, there's no way we can lose the fight with the heroes like you around. There is much for the Shining Blade to do before Kryta is once again at peace. But we'll find a way. And we get Livia, who says, be careful. You survived. I'm pleased. When I return to Kryta, I shall say that heroes still exist in the world. But first, there is another place I must go. A little city called Ara.
Welcome to Lion's Arch.
I found it! The Scepter of Orr.
Thank Dwayna we found it first. If the undead get this...
Come on. The sooner we get this scepter into safekeeping, the better.
Ah! Help! The undead! We're under attack!
We can't let them get the scepter.
Make haste to the Temple of Tolerance. Take the scepter to Confessor Dorian. We'll hold back the undead for as long as we can.
But...
Just go!
There we go. Cutscene.
My friends, it is good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I didn't think when we met off the Delesio seaboard that I would be giving you the Scepter of Orr. Come, you must not linger here. The Zealots will be back soon.
Hello, Avinia. And Sidra.
Oh, the Scepter of Orr. The time for retribution against our oppressors has finally arrived.
I thought the point of stealing the scepter was to keep it from the mantle. How are we going to use it?
We can't, but Vizier Kilbron can.
Who's that?
I negotiated a treaty with the former advisor to the King of Orr.
Ah.
In exchange for the scepter, the good Vizier has agreed to aid us in our fight against the mantle.
Vizier Kilbron? What can one man do for us that we can't do for ourselves?
The Vizier is a very powerful mage. He can show us the path that will lead to our victory. Come now, the sun will be rising soon and we must prepare for our journey to meet the Vizier.
Okay. Check this guy out. Looks pretty cool, doesn't he?
A sight for sore eyes. One of the greatest treasures of my now ruined home. But while being reunited with the Scepter of Orr should be a cause for celebration, the events of today have saddened my heart.
So the door's back. A lot of Titans have been released, but we've stopped them coming out, and the Vizier's dead. There's the Scepter of Orr next to him. Something quite important to notice about the Scepter of Orr in this cutscene. It'd be quite hard to miss, but I do want to make sure. Ooh, look!
Long into the season of the Scion, Tyria is revived again. Your deeds have earned you a place among the heroes of legend. Let us hope today is not the day your spirit joins those ensconced in the hall.
Okay, so yeah, it erupts just like I said at the start of the mission. And look at the scepter. Woo! It disappears. Now that is very significant. We will see it once again, and it I think, and I'm pretty sure it will, it plays a big role somehow in Guild Wars 2 and to do with the first Elder Dragon.
Gad is pretty abrasive. How did you end up working for him?
In the wake of the White Mantle, my home, Kryta, is racked by civil war. Factions and sub-factions are destroying our nation. We are seeking new ways, new magics, new allies in order to tip the balance and finally bring peace.
Livia, I'm sorry about you and Gad.
I learned a great deal from him that can help Kryta. Tell me, have you ever heard of the Scepter of Orr?
Just stop yelling and look at my calculations.
New sacrifices would be made.
A small sacrifice for a greater good.
We all make sacrifices. I would sacrifice 10 times over if it would protect my people.
So, yeah, like, Livia, man, such a huge character. They put right at the end there, right at the end of Eye of the North, in that cutscene, they show us Livia finding the Scepter of Orr at a certain time in the future. At the end of Prophecies, they specifically take the time to show us that shot of the Scepter of Orr disappearing. They've got a huge story with the Scepter of Orr. What is the story? It's obviously got some link to Zhaitan. It was found in Orr, Zhaitan's in Orr. It can be used to control the dead, as the Vizier was doing. It just boggles my mind, and Livia gets her hand on it somehow. They have confirmed that later Livia gives it up. Like, she talks about those sacrifices and stuff. Really interesting. I just have no idea what's going on with the Scepter of Orr. It's so significant. All the way through Prophecies, it was a really important part of the story, okay? Really important. And they never forgot about it. They obviously had a story, because at the end of Prophecies, they took the time to show us that the Scepter disappeared somewhere. Livia's telling us here she's going to Ara. I think that the Scepter goes to Ara. After we see it disappear there in the Fire Island chain, it's at Ara, and she'll get her hands on it. What will she do with it? Who knows? We will be speaking to a lot more of Livia during Guild Wars Beyond, but it doesn't talk about what she does with the Scepter. But there's all these hints about her going to Orr, going to Ara, and that's where we're going in Guild Wars 2, so very, very, very interesting. Desperately wanted to show you guys that, and I hope you like that I kind of cut in bits of the Let's Play from all that time ago. Just kind of, like when I was looking through the videos, finding all those clips, it really is weird seeing how sort of far we've ended up coming. Anyway, we'll speak to Droknar here. Got more stuff to talk about, for sure. We'll speak to him and collect our key here. So he says he's going to give us a treasure. We can say thank you, Droknar. And this will give us a key. I've actually already taken the liberty of collecting another key. And you can use these 2 keys for equipment. You might actually recognise that a long time ago... Actually, did we do this? We did do it, actually. Do I have it still on me? Back in the Let's Play, I used to use a Deljamor axe, which is one of the items that you can get here. Shall we show it? We may as well. Let's go to the Warrior's Chest. So you can use this key to, well, you can use any number of keys you want to get some stuff. So I'll get a Droknar's axe. I love this skin, and we'll get a strength shield as well. So we can get Droknar equipment. I'm really happy that we're now getting rid of the old... oh, no. I was using Deljamor stuff earlier in the Let's Play. Yeah, not Droknar's. It's very slightly different. But there you go. Cool. We got this. I'm happy. You know, I like the Tormented Shield, but everybody uses those. I feel like a bit of a scrub wearing the Tormented Shield the whole time. So this is what we'll be using in Guild Wars Beyond. Pretty cool equipment. We can speak to... Oh, the credits have ended. Pretty awesome. So there you go. That's everybody here. I don't think I've missed anyone. Oh, no, we have missed some people. We've missed the henchman in the middle, actually. So here's the regular old henchman. Actually, we got these guys, the henchmen from Cantha here. Zoe, Talon... Loshar. Zoe says, may the arrow of your life always fly true, and may it find your target at the end of a flight. You too. And how's Onyx doing? Is Onyx good? I will speak to Talon. Awesome. As always, it's been my honour to fight beside you. We'll learn more about him in the Canthan section of Guild Wars Beyond. Loshar, who's hilarious here. Look at these pants. I mean, look at these pants. All this time, still as sparkly as ever. Just fabulous. Oh, brilliant, Loshar. Never change, buddy. And then we got the henchman here, who should be speaking unless I've accidentally triggered it in the background. I probably have. Oh, well, they don't say that much interesting. They just basically say that they're done fighting everything, and that maybe it's time for them to hang up their swords. Harta's here as well. She says, is it over? Can I go to sleep now? It's a bit weird that Harta and Lena are here, along with like the iconic 5 characters, but whatever, we'll speak to her as well. She says, come on, let's get out of here before your head swells anymore. I can only protect you if you still fit behind my shield, I'm sure. Yeah, like, these guys are just awesome to you. So let's speak to Menlo. He says, I've journeyed from Ascalon to Cantha to Elona. I've battled undead, braved a plague, and defeated ancient gods. But my greatest deed will always be winning Sin's burning love. So there you go. A nice little confirmation there that these two are in like a relationship, which is awesome. Sin will say here, Menlo is so sweet, isn't he? Makes me think he's covering up for something. I keep remembering a time in Kaineng where we ran into his old acquaintances. Twin acquaintances. Just something about that makes me want to burn something. You guys remember that? Emmy and Chio, I think they were called. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We've got Aiden here. I've trekked down many paths. I'm glad to have you by my side on so many of those journeys. Yeah, you guys are awesome. We've got Devonna here, obviously the leader of these guys. I remember the day a young hero came to Ashford trying to make a difference in the world. We've all come a long way since the innocent days of protecting people from bees. I love the way the ArenaNet are doing this. They're just reminding us of all those awesome things all that time ago. We've got Eve here as well. Wasn't it wonderful, Adam? Oh yes, and you too. Don't worry, the story isn't over yet. There's still more to come after you die. Very blunt, but very true. Very true indeed. So Adam, of course, is the skull, which is mentioned constantly, but sort of never really has any significance. That is it, I'm pretty sure. I was meaning to speak to these guys before the Livia thing, but whatever. Yeah, that's it. That's everybody. These are all the characters. Pretty awesome. Did we speak to Anton over here? Yeah, we did. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Let's go speak to Droknar, and he will take us out to the Eye of the North. And we will see something else. So here we go. Send me back to the Eye of the North. That's the end of the epilogue. But I'm going to whisk us away to somewhere else. Something that I've been promising to show you at the end of the Let's Play for quite a while now.
New creatures would stir.
So, the Pale Tree. Yeah, so we're finally here. This is the Pale Tree. This place, if you want to know where we are, we're here. We're in Arbor Bay. It's a location that when we were in the middle of the Let's Play and we were running around, I mentioned it and I said that I was going to leave it for the very end because, you know, Eye of the North's really, it's all about a lot of the races that you can play as in Guild Wars 2. You know, we've got 5 races, but the 5th race, we only see 4 in the game. The 5th race, this super mysterious new race, this race, the Sylvari, you hear nothing about in Guild Wars 2, and they remain, even to this day, we've had a lot of blog posts and stuff come out about them, and we know a fair bit more about them than we did when Eye of the North first came out. But really, this is the mystery race. This is the race that supposedly was born out of the ground specifically to fight the Elder Dragons. They're a really interesting race. They're not up everybody's alley, but they are a really cool race, and you know, it would just be completely remiss if we did not do any kind of look at the Sylvari, since they're such a huge part of Guild Wars 2. So we can actually come here. What we saw in the final cutscene there, where it mentioned new things being born, this is it. This is the place that the cutscene was of, and this is the Pale Tree in its infancy. So, and you can walk around here, and there's a little civilization here. And what I'll do is I'll just talk about specifically how the Sylvari came to be, and what evidence we have that for in Guild Wars 1. So we can have a little bit of a look around. We see this big mysterious plant here. It gets much bigger if you've seen any Guild Wars 2 trailers or anything. Absolutely huge. We've got this guy here, Ventari. Do you remember Ventari? Ventari we first met long ago back in the Maguma jungle. He's actually got a whole place here called Ventari's Refuge. Does this actually so this place was named for a wise old centaur with a penchant for peaceful living. Visitors to this outpost do their business among the roots of a gargantuan stonewood tree, the largest known specimen of its kind. It's quite interesting that there's another huge tree where we saw Ventari before. But Ventari, basically, you know about the centaurs. They hate the humans. Usually they're fighting. In Elona, they were being enslaved by the humans. Basically, Ventari, but the centaurs are intelligent. And Ventari was essentially a centaur that turned around and said, no, I reject war. I just want to live in peace. I'm going to find a place and live in peace. And he tried to preach to other centaurs to live in peace as well. But ultimately, he failed. And in the past 7 years, obviously it was a bit longer than that actually, 7 years ago, since we met him here at Ventari's Refuge, he actually comes and founds this place here, this small little town place essentially, and we can speak to him, and he'll say to us, the outside world is violent, a place where the seeds of chaos are sown with innocent tears. The only peace to be found is within the self. Forging the path of serenity from the mind to the heart is more difficult than any battle fought with steel. What is this place? This place is home and haven. As bloodshed casts its shadow, we shelter beneath this place of solace. We live life as it was meant to be, in harmony and unity, regardless of race or caste. All are welcome. What can you tell me about the tree behind you? It's miraculous to believe that all of this began as merely a seed that Ronan gave me. He is an old acquaintance, one of the soldiers who fought the White Mantle who slaughtered my people. Those battles cost him his wife and daughter. In his grief, he threw down his weapon. My team's still killing things in the background, that's hilarious. Perhaps he was looking for escape or a place to die to end his suffering. There he lay, a broken man, and in that moment, he found the seed that would become all of this. Okay, alright, so how did you come here? I had a home once, before this one, where I attempted to reconcile the differences between your people and my own. But centaurs are a proud race, fiery with passion and conviction. They would not see humans as their equals. Against the odds, they fought. The humans rose to crush them. War consumed those lands and my home with it. I made my way here to start anew. So this is Ventari. Let's have a little bit of a speak about these other people before I go into the specifics. There are other people here, like this woman here, Alkana, a woman. She looks Crichton, I guess. She says, there are some who would call this a running away, but you can't teach a man anything once he's dead. Only by living can we secure a better tomorrow. If peace does not come in our time, then it will come in our children's. What is important now is that we are walking a path that will lead to salvation. So this is all about the future, it really is, because obviously this is all about the birth of a race that doesn't actually exist yet. Or perhaps it could have existed a long time in the past, but we'll get into that in a second before I go sort of plunge in too deep too early. I'm sure there's some other people around here. There's a merchant here, a materials person. I doubt these guys have unique dialogue for us though, sadly. No, they won't. But they got like their little houses. I'm sure you can find someone else here, if not Ronan himself. There's a big machine crew member there. Really, is this it? I thought there were more people here. Hold on, let me turn on my compass. There we go, that's a bit better. So there should be one over here. Here's another centaur here. Ergen Windmane, who says, if he lets me speak to him... He's not letting me speak to him, really. Oh, yeah, this is this guy. This is like a bugged guy who, like, has no dialogue, and it's really weird. Yeah, I remember this when I was looking on Wiki ages ago. It's actually quite funny. Ages ago, when we first came to Arbor Bay during the Isle of the North Let's Play, I made like loads of notes about all the interesting stuff that was here. And one of the things was, if you come here in hard mode, you see we're on kind of just an island out in the middle of loads of water. If you come here in hard mode, there's like loads of hippopotami, should I say, walking around here, but they only spawn in hard mode. It's quite odd. And that's like a note I've had in my notepad that I've wanted to mention in the Let's Play for so long, and now finally I've said it, so I can actually delete it. Yes, there you go. There are hippopotami out in the water here if you come here in hard mode. That's her, and then there's just those two guys there. So there's one more person. Well, no, that's the machine member. Yeah, so we spoke to everyone here. So essentially, this is the story. This only sort of tells half the story. If you read the movement of the world and indeed some of the new blog posts that are out, it will shed a lot more light on this subject. But essentially, what happened was you had this man called Ronan, and he left his home. It was he was a Crichton. He sort of he lived in a village in Kryta, we should say. And he left one day, and I can't remember why he left. I don't know whether they've explicitly told us, but he went out on like an expedition or something. And while he was out, he found a cave guarded by some really dangerous plants, right? And this is the story. This is as much depth as it goes into, really. He found a cave full of that was being guarded by loads of dangerous plants. He killed the plants and found inside like a magical seed or some seeds. So he took it to show his family when he got home. But when he did get home, he found out that the White Mantle had come and burnt down his village basically and killed his family and just absolutely devastated everything while he was away. So he was torn, he was broke up about it, and he buried his family essentially. And this is where he buried them. And where he buried them, he planted the seed that he was going to show his daughter on top of their graves. And then this is essentially the place that he buried them. And then slowly, sort of a settlement came up around here as he tended to the tree. And Ventari came, and they started teaching peace around here because basically Ronan had set aside his weapons and said, hey, look, I don't want to fight anymore. I've lost too much to this war. Even though this isn't really the war with the centaurs, it's essentially the same. People come here for peace no matter what war they're fighting. And as the years went by, this tree started growing bigger and bigger from this magical seed. And it slowly gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, in the future, talking in the future now, Ventari, slowly more people will come to this settlement, more people will come to appreciate it, and Ventari will write basically a tablet. It's kind of like the Ten Commandments, essentially. He writes on a tablet all these rules that people should live by and that they should all strive for peace. And essentially, this tree becomes sentient on its own. The pale tree becomes intelligent, and the pale tree starts to absorb the meaning of this tablet, and eventually, within 250 years, it's only about 25 years before Guild Wars 2 happens, this actually starts bearing fruit. The whole tree gets huge and it starts bearing fruit, and from the fruit the Sylvari are born, and that's where the Sylvari come from, and they sort of adhere to these tablets, and it gets a lot more complicated than that, but that kind of goes beyond what I'm talking about here, and that's kind of the birth of the Sylvari race. So they're very mysterious, very weird. The question is, where do the seeds come from in this cave? Does this mean there have been other pale trees? Are there other pale trees around? I'm not going to turn this into a whole Sylvari speculation video, because I could easily do that, but basically, this is the pale tree. This is where you'll start as a Sylvari if you play Guild Wars 2. It's very close to Ratassim, isn't it? It's pretty cool. So yeah, very, very interesting. Wanted to show this off to you guys, talk about the Sylvari a bit, because at the end of the day they are another race. We've given loads of screen time to the others, but not the Sylvari yet. So yeah, it's very, very cool, isn't it? That's about it, guys. That's where I'm calling the end of Eye of the North. This is really the end of the Let's Play. It's a bit weird. I feel like I should like have a speech or something to say to you guys, because just sitting here like I have at the end of the other Let's Plays and just thanking you all profusely for watching doesn't really seem to cut it. But really, thank you all so much for watching. It just wouldn't have happened to you guys. I guess there is one thing I could mention. With regards to Let's Play. Bloody Wind Riders, why wouldn't they die? I've never really talked about why I started the Let's Play, really. It's because this Let's Play, it really means a lot more to me than just sort of being able to be on YouTube and talk to you guys and share all of our opinions and stuff. For me, I started the Let's Play because last year, basically, I got 50 out of 50 for my Hall of Monuments, and I'd sunk so much time into this game. Like, thousands of hours. I think I was on like 5,800 hours on this game, right? Just a ridiculous amount. And you know, I genuinely am quite ashamed of how much. I know a lot of other people have spent a lot more time on stuff, but I genuinely just looked at that and thought, oh my god, I've wasted so much of my life. You know, I played this game a lot during my 2 college years, and I just know that I never really had my priorities right, and I just wasted so much time. And there was a moment around Halloween last year where I'd been watching a lot of Let's Plays and I'd been getting into them, and I kind of had a moment on Guild Wars where I was like, well, I've done everything. I'm not interested in starting PvP. I've quite literally done everything. What do I do now? And it was just quite depressing, really, because I was just thinking, I've got all this knowledge about Guild Wars. I know so much about this universe. I've got so much to share, but at the end of the day, that's just going to be wasted, and within a year or two, I will have forgotten everything because I'll just stop playing the game. And it would, so for me, it was just something that I wanted to try, this Let's Play. I really wanted to teach you guys and sort of share what I know and actually have it mean something. So doing this Let's Play for me is just, it's so much more than just being able to share stuff with you guys. It actually it's my tiny little way of actually being able to look at all the time I've sunk into this and actually say, hey, look, something constructive really did come out of it, because now I've got to meet all you guys and share and learn so much more now than I did at that time, and now I'm so much more enthusiastic about it, and I'm so much happier with the game, and you know, the hours don't bother me so much anymore because I've had you guys to be there to sort of listen to it, and it feels like it's actually been worth something. So when I say thank you for giving me support and stuff, it's not just for giving me all these interesting comments and talking to me and stuff, and watching the video. It's that really you have validated all the time I've sunk into this game. And at the end of the day, if you weren't there to be the ear of which I speak into for hours and hours and hours as I have, it just never would have happened. And I probably would have, I mean, I know so many people were probably in the exact same boat as me and just wasted so much time, you know. So thank you very much, guys. I really do thank you very much. And I hope to see you for Guild Wars Beyond. Obviously, it's not the end of Guild Wars. No, nowhere near. But this is what I'm calling the end of the Let's Play, because honestly, with Guild Wars Beyond, that conceivably will never end, right? So where do you call the end? Because if I start doing Guild Wars Beyond now, like, we'll just finish all the regular stuff, which we will, but then it will just sort of be me sitting around waiting for the live team to put out more content, and the end could be years from now, absolutely years at the rate they've been putting out the content. So this is the end for me. This is where I'm calling it. And yeah, so we will be starting. So what's coming up? I guess I'll quickly talk about. Tomorrow I will be having a video up about the dungeons. You guys get to play the game with me. If you've ever seen one of my videos and thought, hey, I'd like to play, I'd like to be in one of these videos, you probably can do it. There's enough dungeons. I reckon we can get all of you on. So this video will go up. It will tell you all about how to play with me. And basically we'll be doing the dungeon series along with the Guild Wars Beyond stuff. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, and also, I've developed a little bit of a scavenger hunt for you guys. For those of you that have watched a lot of my stuff and feel like you know a lot of sort of what's happened in my Let's Play and stuff, there's a little treat for you. You can try and do the scavenger hunt. Just look in the description of this video, use your intuition, and see how far you can get. And if you manage to make it the whole way, you might be rewarded. So yeah, I think that's about everything. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, thanks again, guys. Let's knock it out to the awesome cheesy ending, of which I love making, and I will see you guys. Hold on, we need to wave. I haven't even had Charlie out. That's terrible. Let's wave. I will see you guys, and we've got the Whiptail Devourer as well. I'll see you guys. Charlie's drowning, but whatever. I will see you guys next time. See you later, everybody. And thank you so much.